All right. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Danhypro Juniors Tournament. Here we will be trying to analyze the game from the third round between Idara and Akinbodewa, two very promising players who are probably going to be, some of the brightest stars in Nigeria, in the years to come. So this was for the third round. As I previously mentioned, we will just dive right into the game. Here we have Idara with white playing e4, and we have a Scandinavian on the board. So we are not going to go too deep into opening theory. Just go through the motions: ed5, queen d5, knight c3, queen d6. Okay, this is a very popular option. The other options are queen a5. The other options are maybe queen a5 and queen d8. So queen d6, d4, knight f6, knight f3, a6. So apparently by now they've deviated from all known theory. So here they are playing on their own. Bishop d3, trying to bring the pieces into the game. Bishop d3, bishop g4, putting pressure on the knight so that the d4 pawn is a bit tender. h3. So here, if black plays bishop times f3, white play queen times f3, attacking the b7 pawn. So it will be very difficult for black to take the pawn since its b7 pawn is hanging, and that probably will spell catastrophe. So in that case, white decided not to capture on f3 and delayed it by playing bishop h5, knight e4, knight times bishop times, and then c6. So black is trying to set up a very solid position on the queen side, blocking the bishop with these two pawns. Okay, so c3, e6, queen b6, queen c7, knight e5, bishop f3, and then knight d6. So this I find as an interesting moment. I like the move knight c4, trying to capture the d6 bishop, which will give white some strategic advantage because he would have the bishop pair, and the dark squares in the black camp are a bit weak. So it would be very nice if white has some dark square bishop and has a lot of control over the dark squares. Anyway, here b5. I mean, you are encouraging white to play what he wants to play anyway, which is to take the pawn. Although I understand that the idea behind it is that white was threatening knight d6, queen d6, and then queen times b7. So he felt he had to protect the pawn some way. So after b5, knight times d6, queen times d6, we come to a very important moment at least. Okay, a4, rook a7. So this is the important moment. Here in the game, white played the move queen a3. I'm not sure it's terrible, but I feel that he had something better. So if we come back to this position and then we try to ask ourselves, like, which piece currently, is potentially strong for white, one would say that white has a bishop, a light square bishop. Black also has a light square bishop, but this dark square bishop really it will be very strong. Controlling. It will be nice if the bishop, gets activated because it's the bishop that is unopposed. So here I was thinking, and I said, it would be really fantastic if I could just get my knight out, maybe to a bishop e3 or f4. So that was where we came up with the move g3, with the idea of putting the bishop on f4. And it also comes with a tactical threat, because once the bishop gets to f4, say we play g3, we put the bishop on f4.
The potential pin
Yeah,
or skewer.
Skewer, yes, exactly. So once the queen moves away, then you take on b8, then the queen takes on b8, and then we have bishop times c6. So this prompted us to ask a few questions about how exactly black can try to make or stymie the damage that seems to be his position. So we came up with the move knight d7. So we'll quickly do an analysis of that. So let's see if g3, knight d7, and then the move bishop f4. The queen, wants to. If the queen moves anywhere, then the bishop times c6 wins a pawn. So e5 takes, knight takes. At first, I thought bishop times, queen times, and then castle would be very good for white. But there's queen times and rook here, and then there's bishop e2, a very nice resource for black. So with that in mind, we came up with a better move, and that was after d times e5, knight times e5, to play the move castles immediately. Now, of course, if black castles, then bishop times, queen times, and then bishop e4. But if black doesn't castle, then really what is it to do? Because there's this super threat of bishop times e5, queen times, and then bishop times c6, and it's not really clear how you can defend against all these threats. So because if you play, say, a move like rook a7, I feel in this position, even the very simple move, say bishop times, queen times, and then rook e1, threatening to play maybe bishop times c6, or if black castles, to play bishop times h7, and the multiple threats. Maybe here the move is king. Maybe here the move is king f8. But even that, it seems like white is much better in that position. So I felt maybe g3 was a very critical move in this position to try to open up, to try to develop the bishop to f4. But apparently that move was missed, and maybe it became a bit. It started becoming a position where maybe black would fight. So bishop here, trying to exchange pieces. Bishop g3, bishop f4, queen d7. Okay, now with the queens off the board, the king is very comfortable coming to the center. So that was one of the reasons why exchanging queens was not a good idea. Now the king just comes to the center and is able to defend.
He's already well developed pieces and well set up pawns.
Yeah,
ready to fight.
Yeah. So the only maybe symbolic advantage that white has now is that he has the bishop pair. So, but
and the kind of delay in development for the knight at the back. There's going to be quite some delay for that knight.
Yes,
to come into the game.
Yes. But right now, actually, the knight is doing a decent job of holding pawn. So, okay. So king d2, bishop c4 takes. I was also looking at the idea of instead of taking to increase the tension by playing maybe a move like rook h to a1.
So you seem to think the whole play from this point now will carry on, will go on the queen side, right? Because I'm looking at the open file on e4. I mean on the open e file, like it's going to need some. Considering those two bishops' position, right? I mean, there might not be too much play on this queen side after a few moves. Everything will be locked down the way I'm looking at it, and putting one of the rooks in the center would just be a good idea right now.
The thing is, it's not so easy. For example, if the rook comes to the e file, it's not clear what exactly it wants to do on the e file. There is no entry point. For instance, maybe on the 7th rank or on the 8th rank, there's no real entry point. The king covers a lot of squares. So it feels like, I mean, if we look at this position, the bishops they all point, to the queen side.
Yes.
This the pawn tension here, it's happening on the queen side.
Correct.
The rook is here. So, it feels like if we can just add maybe more fire to it, or more wood to the fire, that maybe it's possible to break down black's position, or at least increase the pressure. So, I'm not sure, but it felt like maybe increasing the tension with a move like rook a, h2 a1 was a very good idea. Okay, so if takes,
then rook a1,
b3, you see, it's not so clear. Yeah, so
now threatening a pawn.
Yeah, and then after takes c times b4, rook to b7. So you just jettison the pawn and gain the activity instead. But let's do some analysis. Let's go back a bit. Let's ask ourselves what would have happened if instead of releasing the tension, we played the move rook h to a1. What would have happened? Because to me, it's not so clear. Why?
I mean, it's not like there is much activity black is going to bring in right now to start controlling the whole game immediately, But at least that buys him time to bring his rook into c8.
Yes, but the thing is, okay, let's make a move like rook c8. Let's make a move like rook c8.
Now, white can't continue. Okay, white can probably now play the b3 pawn, I think.
Okay, but let's look at the forcing moves first. In all positions, it's always important to look at maybe checks, captures, and So let's look at the forcing moves. So a times b5. What do we capture with?
Only move c times b5. I guess.
Okay, it seems to be c times b5. So if we play continuously like that from times,
then you win. But that pawn has been there all the while as upward grab.
No, but so, the problem was if we go back here, a times b5.
Okay, there's also bishop times b4.
Yeah.
No, before the white move now.
Okay.
Instead of c takes b5, there was also bishop takes.
Yeah, of course. But we don't want. Let's say because we don't want to spoil the structure. Let's just say we go on with bishop times. The problem is that after rook times, we can't take the pawn. We can't take the pawn on a6 because the rook is protecting it. But here, by first bringing the here maybe black can maybe black can defend, maybe I don't know. But the point was that if you had increased the tension, say here you had played rook h a1 and asked the question, okay, you have to know how can you improve your position in this situation. So it will have, I feel like it will have given black some very difficult questions to answer.
And I also like what black did in the later move where it gave the pawn willingly by first pushing b5 or b4,
Yeah,
so create activities for his bishop, his rook, even after losing the pawn exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, but I'll just create my activity and continue the game.
So rook h a1 was probably a good moment, but okay, after that c times b5, c times after the game move c times b3, bishop d5, bishop times, pawn times, rook here, and then b4. Yes, this is the very nice move you were talking about. Yeah, just trying to give himself some activity. And then maybe the rooks come. And then and everything seems to be good. So yes, you're right. Pawn times rook b7. So I'm not sure if it's objectively good, but I feel it's a very good practical choice. Just giving the pawn and trying to gain. So here, bishop times b8. The question also was
helping your opponents develop the other rook was not quite a brilliant idea in my opinion.
Okay. So I mean, probably at this point where just
also no choice. You already gave up the pawn on double, so he has to go for his own pawn too. But now this gives black some nice initiative. I don't want to again.
Okay, so here he's trying to play for some activity. He's trying to play for the fact that his rooks will be very active on the 7th rank. But
that deserves it.
Yeah, the tactical sequence, he was able to just capture the pawn and then exchange one pair of rooks. Probably this is what he missed. He missed that the fact that rook times and rook e4. So after this, it's at the very least,
Really?
Yeah, it feels like
f4 now.
It feels like slowly white started drifting. Because first of all, I'm not 100% sure that his king, he should have brought his king to this side of the board. But okay, this we'll just follow the game as it went on. Okay, but here black already had a lot of counterplay, and maybe it's going to be very difficult to assess this endgame without maybe some analysis or something like that, some deep analysis. But it feels like black has wait.
But black cannot just
Interesting.
try to play this. Is he trying to do this right now? Play 2 pawns against the rook. I mean, it looks playable though. The 2 pawns are very well coordinated.
Yeah. So here.
So he's going to throw the rook at the back while already having his pawn.
Yeah, I was wondering here. Okay, so because he played the move rook b5, maybe wasting a tempo. I'm not really sure. I feel like it's a bit of a wasted tempo. Maybe it's not so necessary. So what happens if you play the direct move? Okay, there are 2 ideas here.
And then black will give h4 from what I'm seeing right now. Black gives h4. White takes. King takes. This 2 pawns and this one. I think it would be almost impossible for white rook to stop all pawns. I mean, you can't just stop all the pawns.
If we go like this, right? Mm-hmm. So are we taking with what, the king or the rook?
We'll take with the king, of course.
It's also clever. Okay, let's take with the king. Let's say maybe bring it 1 step closer to the king side. Okay, so h4, right? Mm-hmm. Then what do? This is it requires a bit of calculation, because taking the pawn on h4, these 2 passed pawns look really menacing. They look really scary.
They're just unstoppable.
They look really, really scary. But if we play g4, also f4 maybe.
F4 is another trouble.
Yes. So let's say we don't do anything. Let's say we just try to bring the king closer. Let's say we try to bring the king closer. How does this?
I think I'll start with
h. This?
Well, that's immediately. I wouldn't want to give up that pawn at the back, so I wouldn't do that yet. I'm going to play g6 first.
But that might be a bit slow because of the king just rushing into the game. Let's try to look at that as forcing moves as possible. Okay, so rook times this, and then king f4, then rook g6. Pawn push, right?
No.
Why not?
King f6 first.
King what?
f3 first.
Why king f3 first?
The pawn can follow when rook attacks from behind.
Okay, king f3. Then what?
So, I mean, anything white wants to do, I don't see much white can do right now. That's what I'm trying to say now.
So king here, trying to stop the pawn.
Then if e3 then.
e3. Wait a minute. But you don't need to do all this. Okay, instead of let's go back here. Instead of after king f3, why don't you just push the pawn?
Yeah, e3 is 3.
e3, then push the pawn.
e2,
and come here.
then.
And it seems this should be a win for white.
For white, let's count 1.
No,
so you just need 1, 2, 3.
So you want
3
to
kings moves and 4 pawn moves.
You want to make this?
That's going to be slow.
Then, if this happens,
that's going
you
to be
just
slow.
simply take take.
And black starts over while white already queen.
Yeah. So the pawn race looks like it favors white. So it's but we are trying to do this without engine. So we're trying to replicate what the players were facing during the game.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like that might have been good to immediately
Promote your pawn.
Yeah, to immediately promote the pawn, and then
But he was afraid of the complexity of the pawn race.
Yes.
And as such, he was trying to play the. I think this was what was going through his mind, right? So rook b5 slows down the queen, king, and pawn.
Yes, that's
what he was thinking. But regardless, the black will still be able to push his his g pawn right now. Just to say, okay, you want to wait, I can wait too. And
so let's look at another version. Queen times, okay, queen here, rook here, and then. But even this doesn't work because you just have a very nice check, and then the king has to step back, and then you can just simply take the pawn.
Yes, so but you played that. I wouldn't play that. I would rather play the G. I would rather give the G.
Okay, so give me a minute. So we're looking at this variation, rook times, king times, and then what?
No, you went for rook time this time, yeah?
No, king times.
Okay, then the G, the H4 move still remains.
H4
right now.
Okay. King comes closer. You were suggesting, I think, a G6 then or something.
Yes, earlier on we analyzed the G6 move.
No, we haven't looked at the G6. I was looking at H times. Yeah.
No, we analyzed the G6 move. That's when. Okay. Let me see.
Because if we play G6 here and then the king just comes in, because this looks like. Actually, I was thinking this was complex, but maybe it's trivially winning for white, because it's not so easy to find anything.
Why not? Like you see, it can. I was going to say white cannot totally cut off the king while attacking these two pawns, but it can. Because I'm now looking at if after this pawn takes, right, rook takes.
Wait, if after what?
Right now, if pawn takes g3. Rook takes g3. Now maybe king goes to h4.
Trying to capture this.
Yes, but after you take, I might not take immediately. I'll push e5. No, not e. F4 immediately.
Okay, maybe this is a better. But
because the rook cannot chase both of them at the same time, except from the side.
Okay, so rook here. It plays.
No, h4 first. F4 first. In my opinion, I think this also is.
No, but F4 first, then there's just a rook check. Yeah?
Oh yeah, that's.
And then I just win. So F4 may not be the best. Maybe, okay, let's try E3. Why not E3? Oh, that cannot try E3.
Oh,
apparently the table is this a table base? It seems like a table base just calls this a draw.
Many draws actually, many draws.
I mean,
yeah, like I was going to say rook can come down to F. To G2 and then stop that move, stop the pawn from working. But after king takes H3, rook would have to go to E2, right?
Let's go king D6. Apparently the E2 is a move.
Now you would have to play rook E7. Now king will take.
King H3. And
there's just no move that can stop it, even a king check.
Rook times. And apparently F4 is the move.
King
let's do some king closer. F3. Let's play some rook let's play some rook A2. Then king G3. King G3, then king E4, F2. And it's easy to see that this is a draw. So apparently, this is actually a draw, but maybe it gave the greatest practical. Maybe it was the best practical. Maybe it would have given the best practical problems for black. Because after this rook a7, he completely drifted. He wanted to control everything, so he played rook b5, g6. And then, that means he wasted 2 tempi. He brought his rook to b5 and he had to bring it back to b3. So wasting 2 completely unnecessary tempo there.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but of course
he didn't want white taking, but that gives him a solid 3 points instead.
Yeah, he should definitely have just taken on g6 and try to draw the game and admit that he has made a mistake here, but he tried to. He tried to stop everything. Rook times e4.
Exactly. Now the king close to the full connected pawn is just everything.
So in a practical game, it was very difficult to do this. Apparently, there were still draws available for white with rook a3, and but it will have been very difficult. I'm sure they must have been in some extreme time pressure here, and the time control is 1 hour plus 30 seconds. So white lost this games. I will give the further moves. Okay, king here. So that was how the game ended. So it was I felt it was a very instructive game. It where white was better in a lot of places, but somehow he conspired to lose the game. So it happens sometimes. But it was a very instructive
in a lot of places in the opening game.
Yeah, in the opening, in the middle game it was better. In the end game, it was better, but he kind of lost that. So, it's as I said, they are some of the promising juniors that we have. So probably there's a lot to learn from this game, and they'll get better.
Thank you so much for your time, as always, right?
Yes,
Thank you. I would have, I initially wanted us to analyze 2 games, but I mean, this is good enough. We've spent a lot of time here. But let me just use the opportunity to ask you this very quickly. So you've been seeing and you've been following the junior chess. You've been seeing their performances.
Yeah.
So how do you see chess now? Because I'm not going to say junior chess again. How do you see chess in Nigeria in the next 5 years?
Currently, the structure is really nice. First of all, I should say that the Danhypro tournaments they have been consistent and they've been helping the juniors a lot. Because the competition between them, I've seen some people just rise. Callistos, Tennyson, Idara, beating the national champion. I mean, so those kind of things. It's the competition. They are really improving at a fast rate. I feel they are even improving faster than maybe our generation. For instance, Abimbola Oshifuyi, Daniel, me, and some other people. They are really just going. So it's I'm happy because it feels like they are surpassing the generation that just.
So which means there is definitely a good potential that chess will grow stronger than it used to be.
And you should definitely see this some of the 13, 10, 11-year-olds, Quick Pen, Ekunke Goodness, Chibuikim, I mean, so many Oba, yeah, so many amazing talents that are coming up. So I feel like if we continue at this pace and get some other things in place, I feel like there's great potential.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.